You've been indoctrinated to fear cholesterol. And when you go to your doctor and it's up a bit too high, he is mandated to say, we got these things called statins. They're a pretty good idea. And if you think back to 2020, when we were mandated to use this experimental thing in the shoulder, that didn't turn out to be too much of a good idea at all. So, we're going to talk about what cholesterol actually does. So, once we understand it, we won't be scared of it anymore. It's nothing to fear. Now, I am highly motivated to understand cholesterol. 7.5 years ago, when I did my DNA and my wife's DNA, we've got a lot of cancer risk and a lot of heart disease risk. And we have given this to our 4 kids. So I started work. Look, I took this seriously. I was highly motivated to fix this issue. And one of the legends that have worked with about this, 5-year PhD on cholesterol and sex hormones. Another one that I've been working with this year, professor, who is a cardiovascular pathophysiologist. So let's stop fearing cholesterol and understand how important it is for superior health and performance. So, number one, basically, when you're making cholesterol, it comes down here into pathway 3. Now, what you might know, the master antioxidant glutathione, it comes down halfway through this pathway before cholesterol synthesis to selenoproteins. Selenoproteins, glutathione, and I'll show you what that means on this page. And this is just 7 selenoprotein dependent pathways for our longevity. Now, another one is dolichols. Now, dolichols do a lot of important things like make glycoproteins, glycosaminoglycans, and proteoglycans. Now, you want good blood flow and a protective shield? Well, that's the glycocalyx. What a paradox. You take this shit here and your glycocalyx suffers, and we'll talk about it and I'll show you. Then every barrier, you got these proteoglycans and glycosaminoglycans. Your brain, your gut, your ball sack, it's got a protective barrier. So have your lungs. Now, inside your extracellular matrix, you got these proteoglycans inside your joints, your immune system. So it is absolutely needed. And then, of course, energy with CoQ10. Like, you're not going to have a lot of energy if you don't have a lot of CoQ10. And it's a powerful antioxidant. And of course, cholesterol, and I'll talk about what it actually does in about 5 minutes from now. But, she's making your man juice. 20 to 25% of your brain's dry weight is cholesterol. And I'll unpack exactly what it means. So we shouldn't fear it. Like 4 things. And they're shutting you down here, and everything is turned down. Your selenoproteins goes down. Your dolichols and like just these 8 things start to tap out. I mean, it's insane. So these selenoproteins, because right here, they're slowing down the production. So you got your glutathione, the master antioxidant. So its production goes down. It's not good. And this protein, this TNX system here, that's protecting your proteins. What's your heart? It's a muscle protein. Your aorta, smooth muscle. Your penis, smooth muscle. Like our body is a protein machine, and it's lowering that system. Spermagenesis, fertility, GPX4. Then your thyroid, right? You can't make optimal thyroid, and there goes your metabolism and your energy. And GPX also for fertility, immune regulation, and neuroprotection. You picking up on what I'm laying down? Now, this isn't funny actually. I mean, seriously. So selenoprotein synthesis, good. Downregulation of selenoprotein synthesis. This isn't good. Colon, esophageal, liver, the cancer, prostate, testicular, breast, colon, down regulation. So, why would you want to take those things that are called statins? I just don't understand. And, like when you start doing the research, it's just like, what the hell's going on here? I mean, seriously. So as you can see, she's exerting its effects here. Selenoprotein's down. And then your dolichols are down, like what I just talked about. Your cholesterol for your brain's down, your energy's down, and you're fucking down. I mean, it's just insane. Now, as I said, you're going to have low glutathione. Now, I'll talk about how to check for all of this stuff towards the end, but I mean, wow. Like you could have things like ADHD and ADD, like your old performance in the bedroom, man. Yeah, she's not fucking good. And then you've got your thyroid issues. Like you understand what's going on here. I mean, you're intelligent. Why the hell would you want to turn down the volume in all of these powerful systems? I mean, it's just insane. But we also need to consider other thing, and I'll touch on this as we progress, and that is optimal vitamin and mineral status. Because if your selenium is too low, that's bad. If it's optimal, that's fucking good. And you've got a pretty wide range. And I've tested a lot of dudes, and a lot of them are high. Yeah. And then when it's too high, you got oxidative damage, and that includes DNA, so that's cancer up as well. You could have hair loss and high blood pressure and nerve toxicity and fatigue, of course. So let's just kind of unpack what cholesterol is actually doing. Now, when your doctor checks for cholesterol, they're not even checking for cholesterol. Nope, they're not. They're checking for LDL. That's a protein cargo boat. So when you take statins, it brings down LDL. So that's going to bring down your cholesterol because cholesterol is in that cargo boat, along with DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, the omega-3, all your fat-soluble vitamins. Then you've got your CoQ10 and antioxidant enzymes. Now, if you dehydrate the human brain, it's 60% fat. In our central nervous system, same deal. And 30%, legends, 30% is the omega-3 docosahexaenoic acid, DHA. And then a full 20 to 25% is cholesterol. So why would you want to turn down the volume? Now, the important thing to understand, if you're living a shitty lifestyle, you're eating the wrong foods, your circadian rhythm is out, you're not exercising, you're doing all those things, this cargo truck will get a bit busted up, and that's not good. So you've got to live a good lifestyle, of course. Now, let's just talk about what cholesterol is actually doing for your hormones. So cholesterol needs to be converted into cortisol. And the cortisol gets a bad fucking rap, man. He's not really a stress hormone. We treat him like shit, so he acts like shit. If you don't have your circadian rhythm set in stone, son of a bitch is going to be playing up on you. So you'll be up, you'll be down, you'll be all over the place. Then, of course, your man juice, your testosterone, and don't forget, also your dihydrotestosterone, testosterone, which is 10 times more potent than testosterone. Aldosterone, blood pressure, estradiol at healthy levels, and also, vitamin D, which is huge. If your vitamin D is suboptimal, paradoxically, your testosterone will be too. Now, this was a very interesting clip that I saw with Professor Ben Bickman. He's a lipid researcher, just talking about cholesterol, man. Check it out.
They found that some of the longest living humans had high cholesterol levels.
That's right. That's what the Sweden study found, for example. The paper just published a year or so ago. What were some of the most consistent themes? They had good glucose control and high cholesterol. I'm a great defender of cholesterol. It is a molecule of life. And so much depends on it. Mitochondria, for example. Mitochondria have to have a cholesterol molecule in them in order to work, like the very powerhouse of the cell. And the more you lower cholesterol through, say, drug interventions, the more you compromise the mitochondria. The sex hormones, all sex hormones are built on cholesterol. It's no surprise if someone takes a cholesterol-lowering medication, their sex hormones go down. This is why some men experience such terrible loss of libido, because he's becoming low testosterone because of the war on cholesterol.
The war on cholesterol, man, she's got to stop. And here's CoQ10. So Bickman just talked about the mitochondria, and this is the electron transport chain within the mitochondria to ultimately produce your ATP, cellular energy. And CoQ10, she's running around in circles here, working hard for you, delivering the electrons to make your ATP. So your LDL, it's not fucking cholesterol, it's just a cargo, but important for testosterone, muscle strength, vitamin D, CoQ10, cognition. And guess what else? It's a part of the immune system, along with, of course, HDL. But it's taken shitty bacteria to the liver, through the bile, out. No harm, no foul. Now, CoQ10, like here's just some. I'll underscore this. Some of the roles: energy, powerful antioxidant, boosts NAD plus. That supplement is a waste of your money. Reduces inflammation, boosts immune function, supports resilience against infection, heart health, blood pressure, exercise performance, skin health, neuroprotective effects, and of course, you're fertile, virile, fertile legend. So, pretty important that we understand that cholesterol ain't the enemy. Now, what we're going to do is talk about one of those pathways. You recall at the beginning of this, I talked about one of those pathways, dolichols. So, this is what these are doing. One of the main things that they're doing, they're doing a shit ton of things, is making glycoproteins. And I'll explain exactly like the glycoproteins, your glycocalyx blood flow, and then the blood-brain barrier, your ball sac barrier, your gut, your lungs, your gut, your joints, extracellular matrix, immune system. I mean, that's just some of the roles that this is doing here. And statins turn down the volume on this. It's just fucking insane. So in a nutshell, when you're making these glycoproteins, so there's three things that they're really making right here: glycoproteins, glycosaminoglycans, and something else. Well, actually, they're called proteoglycans. Joint health. Number three, joint health. So the nucleus, when shit's a bit busted, the glycocalyx, the extracellular matrix, whatever it is, the nuclear receptor, the DNA, two things. Number one, she'll trigger the cholesterol synthesis pathway. Let me say that again. It'll trigger the cholesterol synthesis pathway to start repairing you. So number one here, it triggers the smooth endoplasmic reticulum to make these dolichols. All right, that's what happens. Then over here, you've got mRNA, which is making a protein. So the protein goes into the rough ER and goes into a ribosome to be translated into a fully functioning protein. And then these dolichols go in there and they join together to start making the glycoproteins and the glycosaminoglycans. And then they are shuttled to the Golgi apparatus, and that's like a cargo delivery system taken to wherever they need to go. The glycocalyx, the muscles, the extracellular matrix, the cell membrane, whatever it is. Now let's just talk about your muscles. Like this is a publication from Nature. So glycoprotein complex in muscles. So they are very important right here. What we have to really appreciate is that this cholesterol synthesizes these dolichols. So the glycosaminoglycans, the proteoglycans, and the glycoproteins. So they give the membrane integrity in the muscle cell. They help signal the muscle and repair the muscle. And statins, beyond that, they lower CoQ10, so you don't have a lot of energy. And your muscles need support through the extracellular matrix, so they're shortchanging you there when you're turning down the volume. Now let's just talk about blood flow. So wherever the blood flows, you've got something called the glycocalyx. And this is it right here. So that's the endothelium producing your nitric oxide, blood flow. And these little furry things like grass, that's your glycosaminoglycans and your proteoglycans and your glycoproteins. Now let's zoom in a little bit more. So right here, you can see this. This is it zoomed in. So you can see this is the glycosaminoglycans, the proteoglycans there. Are you picking up on what I'm laying down? And this is damaged. So if you want to know what damages the glycocalyx, drop a comment below and I'll do another video about that. Because as I mentioned, my wife, myself, we passed on all of this DNA to our kids. So I take this extraordinarily seriously. So I want my glycocalyx like this lush fucking lawn. And for a lot of people, it is like this. And that's why you get atherosclerosis and heart disease. Like, look at that shit. It's a muddy fucking cracked up mess. You know, you think about walking on that. You wouldn't want to walk on that. So your blood cells don't want to go down that. Aneurysms, heart disease. So this war on cholesterol, it's fucking insane. Now, another thing, you've also got to have what I call the metabolic triad working. And I'm going to talk about that on the next course. This is optimal vitamin and mineral status to keep all of these metabolic pathways turning. Like as I mentioned at the beginning of this, if your selenium is too high or too low, you're in trouble. And it's not hard to get it right. It seems complicated, but it's truly not. So I learned from Stephanie Seneff. She got her PhD from MIT. She wrote about in this book. So your glycosaminoglycans have to be sulfated, and that happens in transsulfuration. So this metabolic triad, you got your folate pathway, you got your methylation pathway, and you got your transsulfuration pathway. They have to be turning 24/7 to sulfate your glycosaminoglycans. So as you can see here, this is very healthy, this one. Check it out. Beautiful. And that's what mine are. They're healthy. Now over here, they're kind of starting to deteriorate, aren't they? You still got a bit of protection there. Then over here, they're fucked. So that is superior cellular protection. Now, why wouldn't you want that? I mean, think about it. Check it out. Fuck me. That's just terrible. Who'd want that? You know, not good. Now, joint health. So these glycosaminoglycans, short, their acronym is GAGs, glycosaminoglycans. So you've got a few different components in your joints called aggregans, right? And they act like a shock absorber and also a lubricant. So if you don't have all of these systems working, well, of course, you're going to have surgery, won't you? And they don't tell you this, do they? No, they don't tell you how to fix this problem. So here are the 6 major glycosaminoglycans. You got hyaluronic acid, chondroitin sulfate, dermatan sulfate, heparin sulfate, heparin itself, and keratin sulfate. And they're all in different organ systems. And they all have different key functions like hydration, wound healing, cell migration, shock absorber, cartilage resilience, extracellular matrix, skin elasticity. You don't want a wrinkle, do you? Probably not. Barrier function. You get the idea. Immune system, detox. Pretty huge. So right here, this is the metabolic triad, folate, methylation, transsulfuration, and I'm going to cover it on the next video. Pretty simple stuff. We'll go over this on the next video next week. But I just want to finish on this. As I mentioned, why would you want to lower everything that cholesterol synthesis does? Now, what I want to do is just refresh your memory. Cellular proteins, these doliachols here, all of these things there, cholesterol hormones, antioxidants, CoQ10 energy, master antioxidant. So why would you want to turn down the volume on that? Cellular proteins. Your TNX system, protecting your proteins, glutathione, thyroid, spermogenesis, immune, mitochondria, your energy, neuroprotection. Why would you want to turn down the volume on that? To me, that's fucking insane. So let me just scroll back down to where I was. Now, this is kind of shocking to see. So this thing here, the statin, you see this here? This is called inhibition. That's what that means of SIRT6. So when you've got inhibition or you turn down the volume on the longevity pathway, just one of them, SIRT6, here, right, statins, you got Alzheimer's, accelerated aging, more cancer than you want to have. You got a bit of inflammation and you got diabetes. So hopefully you guys can kind of understand now that cholesterol isn't really the problem. We really want to make sure that we just don't damage the glycocalyx, because when it's healthy, you're a long step in the right direction. So if you want more information on this, I've got a school community where you can learn all this information Learn at your own pace and ask me questions on live Zoom calls. The information is below because this is huge. Like, I mean, seriously, think about what's going on here. Everything that I've just mentioned there. Your selenoproteins are down. And then, as I mentioned there, you got this kind of cancer showing up when you got downregulation, your selenoproteins there, and glutathione's tapping out, and nutrient balance is huge. That's what I'm going to talk about on the next video. And of course, 20 to 25% of your fucking brain, legends, is cholesterol. And this is why I'm always speaking about the Omega Index. Get it tested. Find out where it is. You want it at least 10% and higher because you want this DHA, the omega-3 in your brain, like it's 30%. That's important, wouldn't you say? And again, cholesterol isn't what they say it is. LDL is just a fucking cargo truck. Don't damage it. So if you want to know more information about how to not damage it, drop a comment below. Happy to share what I've learned from these experts. And again, cholesterol, man, she's super important. CoQ10, the list goes on and on. Muscles, man. Do you want to be strong or do you want your muscles to waste away? The choice is pretty simple. And again, the blood flow, I mean, holy shit. You're turning down your ability to repair your glycocalyx. And that's the protective shield of where your blood flows. I mean, it's just insane where we are with cholesterol. We shouldn't have a war on it. But unfortunately, Big Pharma's making $20 billion a year. So I'm going to leave it there. If you've got any questions, drop in the comments below. Share this so other people can understand that cholesterol certainly isn't the problem. It's not. It's just our attitude towards it because we fear what we don't know. And that's the bottom line.